Hi, happy Wednesday, I believe it is. um, I wanted to come to you. I got out of a meditation a little while ago, and it was a guided meditation. And I heard the woman say something that I never really put together, or maybe I never knew, but she said that our heart is the first thing that forms, the first organ that forms in vitro, or not in vitro, in embryo, in utero. Thank you. Whew, made it. Um, and so, hey, Patrick, the common mistake that we often make is that we believe our brain. Hello, Gregory. Thanks for being here. Hey, Mindy. We give so much weight and power to our brain, and we don't do the same for our heart. Hi, Lisa and Brianna and Lacey, Andrew. Thanks you guys for being here so much. This common mistake that we make of putting all the priority to our brain, to our mind, to our thoughts really removes us from our heart. And we quite literally have a tug of war going on between our head and our heart. Hey, Ray and Esme, I'm glad you guys are here. And so the reason I just wanted to share this was because it was really present to me in today's meditation when she said that the heart is the first organ that actually forms and starts. And Audra and Ray, Adrian, Karen, thanks for being here, you guys. I'm glad you're here. We're talking about the tug of war between your head and your heart and the way that you can just simply let that go. Now, a lot of people will try to justify that, like, doing things from emotion is irresponsible, right? And that's okay. That's okay to have that view. However, you can be a responsible individual who follows your heart and intuition. Or sometimes sometimes you'll refer to it as your gut, right? Hey, thanks for being here. For Ron, Greg, I see you. Stella, Steph, thank you guys. Tommy, hello, Yasmin, you guys. It's so important to understand this, because if we don't follow our heart and we go with all sensibility, we find ourselves, we can be in very successful careers and yet very unfulfilled. So you can have the house, the car, the job, the relationship, the this, the that, and yet still feel unsatisfied by life. And this happens to a lot of people because we so blindly chase what we think we want. And I say this in my book, Giving Up, the Memoir of a Quitter. You can get it on Amazon or Audible, it's just saying. But I say it in there is often the 16-year-old version of us is the one that created what our life looks like right now. Now, that may be because we had this ideal of what success was and looked like, and we just chased it blindly until to no end. Or it could be that we listened to what others told us we wanted. And I know that I played basketball, and my mom was a basketball player, basketball coach, and to no fault of her own, she raised us the way she knew how to raise us and did a damn good job. Way to go, Deb Gazda. She's grateful, Deb. Wendy, Michelle, Patrick, thanks for being here. Hello, Amanda. You guys, so glad you're here. Hi, Janice. But I played basketball all the way through college, and I tore my knee in my sophomore year. And refusing to give up my ideal of success, which was to be a collegiate athlete and then go on to be a basketball coach and all this and all that, I followed that relentlessly to the point where I wrecked my knee, and it took years. It was 5 knee surgeries, and 4 years later that I was like, oh, that probably wasn't a good idea. I could have walked away sooner, but I wasn't at all willing to think that my basketball career didn't have a happy ending, right? And so that's one example of, like, in my mind, I had this construct of what success looked like, and I followed it, and I never followed my heart on that. I thought I loved it, and I did to a certain extent, but I love the validation. I love the affirmation of putting on that jersey, the feeling good enough, and getting on the court and winning a game. And when we lost, it messed with my identity, or it messed with my worth. And if we lost too many games, like, so interesting, right? But then when we begin to let go of other people's perception of success, and we let go of that, and we allow what I like to call creating the void, we then get an opportunity to actually look at, what do I care about? What is important to me? What do I actually want? What's my definition of success? And sometimes we don't peel enough layers back or peel enough layers away to actually see that or to listen to our heart. We're still, it's a loud world out there, especially with all this social media. Hey, Mandy and Michael and Eric and Hannah, Kurt, you guys, Wendy, thanks for being here. Hi, Michelle. You guys, it's a loud world. And so there's lots of people telling us what we might want. And a great example is infomercials, right? Like pharma infomercials about the next prescription that's out. They're like, do you have this problem? Do you remotely have this kind of maybe sort of problem? Then you need this, and it's gonna fix all these problems. Oh, and by the way, it's gonna create 50 more problems. Like, that's probably the best example I could share with you, right? And so we let people tell us what's wrong with us and then how to fix it. But have you ever considered that you are your best resource? You know what you need. You know who you are, and you know what you care about. But we let the noise of the world or distractions keep us from getting centered and listening to our heart. And that's the common mistake we make, is that our heart isn't a good guidance system. I beg to differ. I beg to differ, because our mind is has so many thought processes, so many procedures and filters, and it's where it records the past. Our heart hurts because our mind tells it to. It's not about, like, feelings are just bodily functions. Thoughts are a byproduct of a feeling. Thoughts are a byproduct of a feeling. So if we're feeling pain, we have painful thoughts. If we're feeling anxious, we have anxious thoughts, right? And then we try to change our thoughts. We're like, I just need to think better things. I need to think better things. Like, no, you need to deal with your damn emotions. You need to get those in check. You got to understand what you're sad about, understand what you're angry about. And when you can get to that root source, that root cause, and you can then discover the feeling and then choose to handle the feeling or feel the feeling, God forbid. That's why I talk about emotional intelligence all the time, which, by the way, head over to this Monday's 15-minute Philip. It's all about what is emotional intelligence. So if this is sparking your interest, so will that podcast episode. And hello, Leslie. Hi, Ruby and Michelle, Rory. So good to see you guys here. Thanks, Catherine. Hey, Nehemiah and David. You guys, it's awesome to see you here. Mandy, Michael. Oh, awesome, awesome. So I just want to give you that encouragement, is don't make the mistake that your heart isn't the most important organ in your body and the best guidance system that you have. And if something is on your heart, it's on your heart for a reason, and it's up to you to truly unleash it. And then our mind says, what about this? What about that? Have you considered this? Have you thought about that? Now, right now, if you're unaware of it and you're feeling internal conflict, I want you to consider that it's just because you haven't had these two organs working together in your favor. The mind is incredibly important. I'm not going to tell you to throw logic and reason out the window, but I'm going to tell you to follow your heart. And that's the common mistake we do, is we have an inclination, we have an urge, we have a dream and a passion and a desire and a purpose and a message and a mission. Oh my God, I could go on about that heart of yours. But then we let our mind stop it. We let our mind say, no, you can't, you shouldn't. What will they think of you? All the different things, because your thoughts are a byproduct of your feelings. And so if you're feeling driven, and then, by God, you may have like some concerns, but if you're feeling driven, you're going to have driven thoughts. Like, hell or high water, someone's opinion is going to stop me. That's a driven type of thought, right? But if you have anxiety or fear, you're going to have fear-based thoughts. And so your emotional intelligence is so incredibly important, so that you can truly gauge, is this a thought I want to entertain? Is this a thought that I'm willing to just release so that I can get back into my feeling and get back into my passion and keep following what I'm up to relentlessly? You guys, you have dreams, you have passions, you have a mission and a message. And sorry about all the jumbling of words, but I just am here to remind you how important that is and how important it is to follow through, because you can listen to your mind your whole life and you can look stereotypically successful and still not be fulfilled by it. And that's, if I can save anybody from that struggle, or, help somebody through that struggle. If you're somebody it looks like you got it going on, but really you lay your head on your pillow at night and you feel empty or unfulfilled or unsatisfied or longing for something more, you're the only one who can admit it. No one can admit that for you, and no one can make that shift for you. And so if this little live was really supportful for you in realizing it's time to start listening to that heart of yours, then I would highly encourage you to head over to the Hearts Unleashed podcast and listen to episode 94, explaining emotional intelligence, because it's really important. It's really beautiful, and it's really beautiful to have you guys here. Happy evening. Thanks for joining us, Megan and Taylor and Paula, Elena, Sarah, Brandy. You guys, thanks, Jacqueline, Brianna. It's so good to see you guys here. Thanks, Gabriella and Leslie. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's awesome to see you here. So be sure to head over. I'll put the link in here in the comments so that you can get quick, easy access. But I love you. Thanks for tuning in. Start listening to that heart of yours.